It's September 2nd, 2012, and you're watching Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games.
Yeah.
I think you'd be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard.
Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty. I could hear you groaning inwardly every time Sin's mentioned, you just cringing.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 347 of Mods on Air, coming to you live from PAX in Seattle, Washington. Here we are. We're all together in the same room. This is not going to happen too often, everybody.
3 Musketeers.
So we are just wrapping up a day at PAX. Sorry this thing can't come to you live. The internet is not as good as we would have hoped to do this thing live. But we spent the last few days working our butts off, walking around not just Seattle, but also walking around the convention center here in Washington State Convention Center and talking to the developers, the game developers, the PR agents, and playing some game demos for your benefit, as well as ours, of course. And we wanted to give you a wrap-up of what we thought was happening at the show. We're going to show you some video of actual gameplay. We're going to show you some actual interviews that we each had with the different developers. Hopefully games that you care about, because they are games that we care about. And we want to give you a full thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our schedule. We actually had a joint schedule here and go through some of the games that we went through. Hopefully we have it all here. All right, so first of all, our thoughts of what the... Are we stopping? You're looking at me like, huh?
No, keep going.
Okay, so we're not stopping.
This is all well thought out.
Yeah,
so
perfectly
just
planned.
like every show.
Yep.
Yes.
Why would we put less effort into this one than we put into every other one?
All right, so I want to run through some of the topics, some of the shows, some of the interviews that we did here, and I'm going to try and do them in some sort of an order based on our calendar. We tried to start off with Natural Selection. Natural Selection happens to turn to be a modification turned full game built on the Source engine, right? And that is going to be running over, you're going to be able to purchase it pretty soon, and you're going to want to check out this trailer because you're going to want to play this game. It is somewhat unique. All right, we're here with Charlie from Natural Selection. We are looking at not really a total conversion mod. We are talking about a full indie game right here. Can you tell us just a little bit, quick spot on about your game right now?
Sure, I'd love to. Well, Half-Life 1 was Natural Selection was a mod for Half-Life 1 back in 2002. So, which I wrote like back then, and I was a professional developer that went into the mod scene. Really wanted to make a game that combined RTS and FPS together.
Right.
And at that time, the Half-Life 1 modding scene was just blowing up. And I thought this is a great way to get this concept out to as many people as possible.
Right.
So then that became somewhat popular, and then I got hooked, and I wanted to make a sequel. And then, of course, this time I'm like out of money. I need to make a game that I can sell, so I can continue doing it forever. Started the company and started getting funding, and now here we are as a commercial, standalone, non-mod sequel to Natural Selection.
Right, so Natural Selection, we're talking about a game that features, it's a first-person shooter, sort of. Yep. It features 2 types of teams.
Yep.
And it also features a single player who runs the strategy portion of the game. How does that work? How do you go from strategy into this whole first-person, team-based thing?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. The commander gives orders to other players on the team. So he's got a top-down view. So he's giving orders, he's dropping structures. Now it's not like StarCraft where the commander can do everything. And you don't want a game, we don't want a game that the commander plays one game and that everyone else plays a different game. You want them to be together. It's a multiplayer game. So the commander drops structures, but all the players on the ground have to build the structures. At the same time, the commander's making strategic choices and spending the team's money, but the players on the ground have to work together or else it's not going to work.
Okay.
So he'll expand across the map, build an extractor, which is like a way to get resources, and the Marines on the ground have to build it and then they have to defend it. If it stops working, they don't get resources, they can't get their unlocks for their weapons, and they can't they can't use resources to buy stuff.
Yep.
So that's how those two sides work together.
So if we have somebody out there, say, right now working on a modification for Half-Life or Quake or whatever the game may be, what would be the process that you suggest they go through in order to turn around and say, okay, I'm ready for developing my own game? I know you went through a lot of trouble. Everyone goes through the trouble. Do you have any suggestions for people?
That's a good question. I mean, first of all, I would say make your mod the smallest possible mod you can make. Like, make something that's unique, and what they say in like startups is like the minimum viable product. Like, figure out. You want to make a really popular mod first, like a really awesome mod that people get excited about. That's the hard part. So make something really small, something you can ship relatively quickly. You don't be like me and spend years on the sequel. Right. Like, you want to set up your mod where you want to, like the NS1 actually only took 18 months, start to finish. I mean, I continued working on it after that, but we released after 18 months. That was great. We took a much longer process than I would have liked to get the sequel done. Right. So I would say do something small, do it fast, strip out everything that is not really critical for your idea, make something unique so people get really excited about it, and build it up as big as possible, get as many people interested in it as possible, and that will help you. The doors will start opening for you for funding. You can crowdsource, your money if you need to because you have fans. You can, Kickstarter has really helped that a lot now. You can actually do something now. I would also say when you start building a commercial sequel, if you've made a great mod and you want to make a commercial sequel, figure out a way to make money off your sequel as soon as possible. Like, not years, like make money that first day. Like, how can you make money today? Because when you start like doing pre-sales, selling t-shirts, asking like the Kickstarter thing, all those things are really helpful for getting people, because you need the money to start coming in, and you'll learn how to make money. And unfortunately, or fortunately, making money is really important for running a team. Right. We would have been out probably a year or two ago, if we had a lot more money earlier. Okay. So.
Well, I don't know if this has helped you or hurt you, but right now you can go in and anybody can go out there and make maps for this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
so
two of the maps that are shipping with the game are from the community.
Exactly. So is that something that actually helps you to open it up to the community? Because obviously you have a tight-knit team that actually do the development, but then you open it up to the community, and maybe that actually furthers you quicker?
We'd be dead without our community maps, among other things. We were funded by the community. We did over $1 million in pre-orders, which that's literally, we would have been out of business if we didn't do that. We have 2 shipping maps in the game from the community. I think our entire level design team came from our community. 2 of our 5 programmers came from the community. We have the spectator mod we just added to the game, which is a community mod, which we then integrated in. All of our QA team, our playtest team, they're also why this game is relatively bug-free. Right. They came from the community. They work like 6-7 hours a day. Wow. They're running this booth for us. Like, they were here 2 days before I got here, or 1 day before I got here, 2 days before the rest of the dev team. They've been running this whole thing, along with Hugh, who's on our dev team. But so we just rely on them for everything because we have to. All right. It's in our blood. We like to do it, but also we have to.
All right, so if somebody out there is interested to find out more, they want to see, maybe even get their hands on something, I don't know if that's possible, what do they do?
So if you pre-order it before Tuesday from naturalselection2.com, you can jump in the beta. We're going to be on Steam on Tuesday for pre-orders. After that, I think we're going to shut the beta down until we launch. But so you might want to do it before Tuesday. But yeah, we'll be out on Steam before you know it.
Wonderful.
So you can come check out our forums at unknownworlds.com. Very active mapping forums, like tutorials on our level editor, cinematic tool, all that stuff. So yeah, get involved.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank you.
All right, and that's it. Foyleman from PAX, thanks. So that was Natural Selection, which originally started, like I said, as a Source modification, now over on what I think is a Spark engine.
I believe so. I believe that's.
So completely new engine, but it should still be available, hopefully on Steam, and definitely available online for you to check out very soon, along with some of the footage that we showed.
It's one of the ones that we want to get before Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
If you order it
pre-order
on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's
available on Steam, I think, on Tuesday. But if you order,
we're not going to be able to get this to you in time.
Too late. You're all too late.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah. Those of you that can go to the website and pre-order it through there, not through Steam. There's a benefit of doing so.
And what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to actually pick it up because it looks like a fun game, and we will be able to give our opinions of the game as we play through it over the coming weeks.
And I think it's also something they had mentioned was going to support mods.
It already does.
It already does support mods, and the playability of it for the price looks fantastic.
It does. It's one of our top picks for PAX.
And I believe it's probably going to be one of our indie developers of the month.
I think so.
In the upcoming months.
Yep. We'll probably have him on the show. All right, jumping over to somebody else. We did head over to the NVIDIA booth and saw some of the stuff that they were doing. They really just have the same hardware that we were looking for. We don't have a lot to talk about with that. If you want to check out what NVIDIA is doing, you can head over to the websites and see some of the same products that you may already have in your computers or not. Unfortunately, they were not one of the top presents.
At the show.
At the show, no, they were not.
They were kind of just hidden in the corner.
Yeah, they were there, letting their hardware operate, showcasing games. People were lining up to play the games on NVIDIA graphics cards, so they weren't really there for the NVIDIA cards as much as I could see anyways.
But we did jump over to another indie developer afterwards. We headed over to Contagion, and Contagion is
the game.
Over
to Monochrome.
We headed over to Monochrome. Yeah, Contagion is the game. This is a game that's very similar to, you know what, I'm going to say it's like Left 4 Dead, but it's really not, because what the difference here is you can go in there as a person. I think they were saying right now it's just a 4-person team right now. I think they want to go towards 8, but right now it's 4-person. You get into the game. You're running around this town that has a whole bunch of zombies or infected, shooting them. But if you do happen to die based on one of the infected, you become an infected, and then you can go and hunt some of the fellow players. And after that, once you die, as Stryder was able to point out, get some clarification from the developer, that if you do die again as a zombie, you still come back as a zombie, and you can continue playing that way until there is no one left.
Basically,
so it's like
take over.
Zombie Panic Source, was it, that mod? Which is essentially the same thing, yeah.
Very similar to that, absolutely, which is another one that we played. You can check one of the past episodes. I think we talked about it then. It looked pretty good. So actually, why don't I show you what it looked like? Here's some footage. All right, so I am here with Josh from Monochrome Games, and we are looking at a game called Contagion. Correct. And this is a game made for the Source engine. So tell me a little bit about the game that you have here with us.
Yeah, sure thing. Contagion is a first-person zombie survival horror co-op game. Everybody starts out as a survivor, and if you're killed as a survivor, then you turn into a zombie and play against everybody else that you're currently playing with.
How many people are we talking about being able to play at once in this game?
Well, right now we have 4 people here at PAX just because of our booth size, but ultimately we'll be doing 8 to 10 people.
8 to 10 people. Now this is a mod that's been in development. Has it been in development for a while?
Well, it's not a mod, it's an indie game. It's based off of a mod. It was a successor of Zombie Panic Source, which was very successful.
All right, so this is a full game. This is going to be something that you're going to be able to purchase?
Correct, yeah, we'll be selling it on Steam.
Great, and are you going to be able to accept mods for this? Are you going to open this up to allow people to start making their own custom maps and also supporting the game in that way, or do you think you're going to, for now, keep it a little bit closed?
For now, we'll probably keep it pretty close to our chest, but at the same time, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for the community. So, we're definitely going to be having talks about that in the future.
All right, so with the game, we have a few people out there that are going to, you're going to jump into the game, first-person perspective, you're going to pull out your weapon and you're going to shoot some zombies. And at some point, you might end up getting slashed or bitten and then becoming one of them. Is that how it works?
Yeah, one of the features as a zombie player is to infect the other survivor players. And that infection can happen either instantaneously or later on in the game.
And then now I am a zombie myself, or infected, and I am out there after these other players that I probably was playing side by side with them a little while ago, so now I can maybe find where he is, right?
Yeah, we also have zombie vision, which helps lead you to other survivor players. And we also have a roar feature that will allow zombie players to call other AI zombies to them and use them as an army of zombies to attack survivors.
I like that. Are you talking about a lot of zombies coming in on this, or just a couple? Like what kind of scale of zombie hordes can we kind of see?
Well, our zombies are a little bit different from other zombie games out there. We did want to keep them a little more difficult to kill, so body shots don't really do a whole lot of damage. Your real damage is going to take place in those headshots, so it really makes you conserve your ammo, make sure you're being more accurate, and also sharing ammo with everybody else to make sure that everybody can kill the zombies at large.
Okay, now as you're talking to me, I see out of the corner of my eye, I see some vehicles. Yeah. We have vehicles in this. Now, how do vehicles play a part? Because usually when we're playing these games, especially from Source, we usually play in these more closed areas, maybe not in Half-Life 2 where we had a bigger opening with the boat, but how do they play a part in your game?
That I cannot talk about.
Oh, so we're going to have to stay tuned. When are we going to find out more? When are we going to actually get to see some vehicles and maybe get our hands on the game?
Well, we'll be going to closed beta or open beta here closer to the end of the year.
Okay, great. And now what we want to do is we're going to get our hands on some of this game and we're going to see what's going on. Anything else you want to tell us with the game before we start playing?
Just that everybody give it a chance, give it a shot, and I definitely know that everybody will really enjoy it.
All right, great. Thank you very much. This is Foyleman from PAX. Thanks.
That was a lot of work. We need more beer.
All right, from there we headed from the indie developer. We headed over to a piece of hardware here, Turtle Beach. I wanted to know what they had in the way of headsets, because every time I go to these shows, I always try to make it a point to stop by these headset companies to see what kind of new innovations we have. In the past, I've headed over to Plantronics, which have unfortunately always disappointed me. Plantronics always turns out with these headsets that are just stereo, not like these full surround sound things. They did have a presence at PAX, but again, I was not impressed with what they had. Another company that does not often impress is Sennheiser, I think it is. Anyway, I had one of their headsets. Beautiful headset for the studio microphones. However, they do also, while they're out there doing these game presentations, they do not, Sennheiser, they do not.
I'm just sitting here drinking. I don't know what you're doing.
They do not have, again, the surround sound. They do not have this full headset that's really set up for gaming. However, Turtle Beach is really trying to push what they have for gaming. And they're not just trying to push it for the Xbox, the consoles, but they're also trying to push this thing for the PC. And they have a few headsets, but they really, really wanted to focus on one. But what I have here is footage, starting off with some Xbox stuff. Of course, the Call of Duty Black Ops, which is actually just a regular headset with Black Ops on it for $10 more.
Stickers.
Okay. And then from there, they jump over to some other high-end PC stuff. So take a look at what we have here as we talk to one of the representatives over at Turtle Beach. All right, so I'm here with Ike from Turtle Beach, and we are here to talk about headsets, microphones, and what it can work for you. First, we're going to start off with some console equipment. What have you got for us here?
All right, so we're proud to be the official headset partner for Call of Duty this year. So with Black Ops 2 right around the corner, we have a nice lineup of headsets for that, ranging from earbuds all the way to complete surround sound wireless headsets. So pretty much the entry point into the series is the Kilo right here. That's a universal amplified stereo headset. It's wired. Across the entire line, you can see right away they've got some nice premium materials to them. They got leatherette headbands, leatherette ear cushions, memory foam in the ear cushions for nice noise isolation and comfort. So it has a nice premium feel. So with the Kilo, it's got independent game and chat volume controls. Works on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Mac. So really nice compatibility across all platforms there.
Are we talking about all these pieces working across all platforms, or just the first one we're talking about?
Kilo.
Okay, just the Kilo.
Just the Kilo. And moving up from there is the X-Ray. Now that is a surround sound wireless headset. Works on PlayStation and Xbox. It includes what we call surround sound angles. Those are adjustable. So if you think of them as like speakers around your house, if you move them physically around you, you can think of that with our adjustable surround sound angles. You're actually moving the speakers around your head because not everyone hears audio the same way, right? So you want to find the best optimal angle for you, for that particular person.
And the hardware that drives this, we're not talking about tubes inside of the headset. Are we talking about multiple speakers, or are we talking about simulated surround?
This is simulated surround sound with our own proprietary surround sound technology. So that's how we're able to do surround sound angles with that.
Okay.
It also includes a Bluetooth radio in the headset, so you can dual pair it to your phone, take phone calls for your gaming as well.
That's great.
Or you can ignore them as well. And finally, we have the Tango, which is the cream of the crop. We pretty much threw everything into that as well. Surround sound angles, 5.1. Works on Xbox and PlayStation, uses our new dual band Wi-Fi technology, so it actually operates on both the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz ranges. So now it finds the best connection between those two and sits on it and claims it as its own. So now wireless interference should be a thing of the past now with that. Also includes the Bluetooth radio in that as well. So not only can you dual pair it to your phone, you can take phone calls. You can also stream music from that device if you want to. So you can have your own background music if you want.
Is this why we have a digital out? I see a digital output on this piece of hardware.
You can also pass through the audio if you want as well. So you can connect it from your console and then keep on going through to your home theater system if you want to as well. So you don't have to keep on switching cables back and forth.
What is the life on these? This one looks wireless over here, is that correct?
Yep, so the two wireless headsets here actually have rechargeable batteries in them.
Yep.
So we know changing batteries every 10-15 hours is annoying. So we included that in there. Life for the one charge, you should get about 12 hours or so.
Great.
And you can also charge it while playing as well. So there's no downtime if you don't want to.
And that's a USB charge?
Exactly.
Wonderful, which you already have on your box. Okay. Want to see some PC?
Yes, absolutely.
PC. Okay, so we're moving from console over to PC. What do we have for PC?
All right, so we are now actually the official headset partner of MLG, Major League Gaming. So with that, we introduced a new line of headsets called the 7 Series, and we have pretty much 3 different packages, one for mobile, one for PC, and one for console. So we can focus on the PC version, which is the Z7 right here. It includes the headset, and pretty much the brains behind the operation is that control unit right there.
Okay.
So you can actually just plug it straight into your PC and get 5.1 surround sounds just straight over that one USB connection. So it's really cool with that.
So it is its own external sound card.
Pretty much, absolutely. So this little box right here is super customizable. There's a lot of functions and features on it. You have one control for master volume. They've all got capacitive touch buttons on them. We have 2 different sets of preset modes. There's a main mode for different presets for a game, and then one for chat as well. So on main, you can do things like basic stuff like EQ, but even more in-depth. You can actually kind of like focus on certain audio cues and raise, things like footsteps or reloads, and bring everything else around it down. And so really unique, really unique. It also comes with a sound editor, so you can actually go in there and tweak the audio yourself if you want to.
Okay. Now I like to sound good. Am I going to sound good on this microphone?
Absolutely. You're going to sound pretty amazing. It's also the chat presets actually are specific to the microphone, so you can actually tweak the way you sound if you want. You can also tweak the way incoming other people sound as well.
Okay. What kind of a pickup does the mic have? What kind of hertz are we talking about as far as range? Or is it a minimal range? Are we also talking about it being omnidirectional or?
It's a uni.
Okay.
It's a uni, and also the presets also affect. You can do a noise gate on them as well.
Okay.
So you can actually adjust how much you want to pick up, and adjust it that way as well. So really customizable that way.
Great. And you have some others? Can you show us some other headsets that you're? Are you?
Huge lineup. So we can go through more PC stuff. A lot of our PlayStation headset as well are also compatible on PC as well. So we can talk about that as well if you want to.
All right. I'll tell you what. Why don't you give us some work, and we're going to show you some video and some screenshots, and let you know where you can find out more about Turtle Beach. This is Foyleman. Take care.
Because what I wanted to know about that was the moment you said about like considering microphone quality or whatever, and they all just went.
Yeah. And you know what? That was one of the things that was mentioned that off camera was that typically nobody asks about the microphone quality, and the quality of the cans goes up and up and up and up and up, and the price point goes up and up and up and up and up. However, the quality of the microphone stays the same on every one of them. So trying to get a good quality studio mic quality that increases with your headphones is almost impossible in a gaming, set of gaming cams.
Well, it's kind of, it's like you either have one or the other, isn't it? You have a really good microphone and crappy ass headphones, or you have really good headphones and yeah.
So it was Stryder to the developer saying, or not the developer, the representative. So you know what? We're really interested in knowing more about these high quality microphones, not just these great headsets that you have. Well, you know what? We have these great headsets for you to listen to. So here, let me go and show you what we have for Black Ops 2.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It is,
That's what it was.
Pretty much.
And it's like we just want something with a really good microphone on it, but yeah.
Is there no balance?
Yeah.
But I mean, and then they said, and he's just a representative, but unfortunately that's the way that they're looking at it. They're trying to put out a set of cans that gives you that immersive thing, and they could give a shit about whether or not you
sound like you're in the water.
Oh, by the way, you forgot you may contain language, blah blah blah, because you usually do that. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be
a disclaimer at the end of the show.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just remembered that because I swore.
I
swore.
Okay, another one that we went over to was a game company called Tectonic, and they were putting out a more of a sort of like a run down a corridor kind of game.
And they call it an endless corridor runner.
Built on the Unity engine, which actually, you know what, I didn't realize it was built on the Unity engine. It's one of those games that was, I would say, is fairly well built, looks really good. You wouldn't know what engine it is on until you started talking to these to the guys,
yeah.
these people that we're talking to here, they're not just representatives of the game. They are the developers. I was talking to a lead developer there. Yeah. And actually, this interview that we have is from Welshy, so...
Scott and Leaf.
Yep, so here we go. Here's some footage for you.
Hello, Welshy here, and we're at PAX this year again. We were here last year, we're here this year again, and we're with Scott Miller of Tectonic Games. How's it going?
Very good.
Very good. So tell us about the game. We'll just jump right into it.
So this is Bus and Rush. It's a 3D endless runner. You're basically taking on the character of Kovo, who's a juggernaut-like hero, and he's running down long hallways and basically destroying anything that's in his path. It's a kind of pick-up-and-play casual game. You can jump in, play for 5 minutes, and feel like you've really accomplished something. It has single and multiplayer modes, so you can play the single-player modes, which we're in quest mode right now, and those will actually knock you up. And so you can kind of chain them. The idea here is you're just really trying to get a high score. It's a kind of score junkie game. Also, we have a survival mode where you're trying to run as long as you possibly can. The game is going to get continuously faster, and it's going to constantly challenge your reflexes and your ability to play. As you can see, we're about a minute in right now, and we're already starting to get a little fast. If you actually try holding down W, it would increase the speed and also give you score multipliers as well, which will increase your score that's over here. The final mode we have is a multiplayer challenge mode. So you and your friends, it'll pull your friends through Facebook and then let you challenge them to actually play the game with you. And so you'll get a high score and you'll send it to them. They'll get a high score and they'll send it back. And you're constantly trying to see who can have the highest score possible. And then eventually someone's just not going to be able to cut it, and we'll have a winner. So what you're seeing right now is our middle level. This is the engineering, otherwise known as Gearmageddon. We have 3 different worlds. So we have a mine, which is called Depths of Thurl, engineering, Gearmageddon, and the Last Bound, which is our space level. That's really the game. It's a lot of fun. It's a kind of very casual, very fun pick up and play kind of game.
Cool. So what engine are you running on? Is it?
This is Unity. So we developed it 100% in Unity. It took us about 1.5 years to create the product, and we're launching in about 2 weeks on EA's publishing us through Origin.
So is it multiplayer in the way that you can play together at the same time, or is it just high score sort of orientated?
It's challenge multiplayer, so it's basically you are going to go in and do a really good run, and then you're going to send to your friend and say, "Hi, you can't beat this score." Your friend's going to beat it, and then he's going to come back and say, "You can't beat mine," and you keep going back and forth until you finally have somebody who just can't beat that score. But the idea here is that we don't want to enforce people to say, "Hey, let's be on at 5:00 p.m. so that we can each do a run and we can, that sort of thing." It will save your scores over and then allow them to play whenever is good for them. So you'll wake up in the morning and you have a couple challenges. You'll do them before you go to work or school or whatever. You'll get home in the afternoon. You'll have a couple more because your friends have been able to play, and then go back and forth. So it's constantly giving you new challenges and new things to do.
Is there going to be any way to make custom levels for the game, or?
At this moment, we don't have the ability to, but we definitely want to look at that in the future. I'm a big proponent of mods. I used to work for IGN as their mod manager, and so I'm really into mods. And I think this would be a lot of fun if we had the tools for it. It just comes down to what we can do with it within the engine.
Is it PC only, or is it all platforms?
It's PC, Mac, and then we're going to be releasing a version that runs in the web on the browser later this year. So the initial launch will be PC, Mac.
Yeah, very cool. I think we're done there. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks
Thanks a lot.
And Welshy out.
That was Scott and Leaf.
Yeah, Leaf. That was weird.
Well, the interview was with Scott. We had a little off-camera discussion with Leaf, who was the programmer.
That's right. Right, I wanted to know more about what was going on with their Unity development, and really they're having the exact same trials and tribulations that I have gone through with all the games that I have developed, where they have certain things that they have to figure their own way around. And one of the key elements, something that actually we've discussed amongst ourselves when considering the idea of developing a game, what to develop on, is, well, when you're working with Unity, how do you overcome some of the multiplayer obstacles? Because when it comes to Unity, you have to figure out how to develop some of these assets by yourself. Now you can go out there with UDK and you can pick it up, and there's some sort of multiplayer back end already. However, he told me that one of the reasons they did not do that is because that's great if you want a first-person shooter. We didn't want a first-person shooter, so we went with Unity. If you ask me, this is not what he told me. They went with Unity because it was at their price point. It is something that they could afford, and it was something that they could figure out.
And I also think it was something that will work with the type of game they were trying to develop.
Well, yeah, because
absolutely.
They didn't have any kind of like multiplayer game really.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like leaderboards and you could like try and beat each other's times, but it wasn't that kind of real time multiplayer.
Beat Trip Rush.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And you know how they're getting around the security issue. You know the idea of piracy. You will have to, at certain times, at least when you originally register the game, you will have to have internet connectivity. Because they were going to check back with the server, with your keys, and make sure that it is a valid key. And that is one of the reasons why you're going to start seeing more and more and more of these games come out saying internet connectivity required. It is not just because you have to be online all the time. You know, it's not like one of these Steam games where you have to be online, although most of those have an offline mode. It is because they want some sort of security, and the internet allows them to develop something that provides that security. So that does not upset me. I don't mind having a game that I have to be online for just to start installing and go on from there.
As long as it stays at that level and doesn't turn into something where you require internet connectivity at all times to play, and you end up with a situation like some of the FPS games that are out there where you can only save it at certain points, and if your internet goes out anytime in between that, it immediately thinks you're cheating and your game is done.
Oh yes, right.
And you start way back, 45 minutes, an hour earlier in the gameplay. So
right. In this case, that's not going to happen.
No, and I don't think you'd be that upset if it did.
All right. Another one that we headed over to was the Reverb booth. Now, I was actually pretty excited about this, not just because it was next to some people that we actually know within the gaming industry, which we'll be getting to, but they also had some interesting technologies. One that I was really interested in because, I don't know, if you've listened to some of the past episodes, you may know that I was interested in this Origin PC. I was thinking of the idea that if I go out and buy another laptop, I want to go with Origin. Origin is a company that allows you to customize your laptop, and or your desktop, if that may be the case, and come up with something that's unique and very powerful. The specs look outstanding when you go over to the website. The cost is on par with everything else.
Comparable to a little less than right now Alienware, I believe.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not getting the Dell stigma attached to it.
Right.
If you purchase a Origin outside of.
And it actually works, which is. Yeah.
The Dell stigma.
Oh, yeah. This thing works. What was that? Was that a 13 or 11-inch screen? I think it was an 11-inch laptop, this little tiny thing that was playing Battlefield 3, beautiful resolution, across a monitor. Now, they're also using another software from Logix. I got to look that up there.
Lucid.
Lucid Logix. And that software, they're saying, is supposed to help make things work a little bit better, but really what it does is it optimizes the idea of working with chipsets and GPU. There's some sort of optimization going on. And you know what? Some of this interview that I did with the president, I think he was the president and CEO of Origin Company. Take a look at what we talked about here. Okay, I'm standing here with Kevin from Origin PC, and he's look at this laptop that's sitting right behind him. We're talking about gaming performance laptops such as this little guy here. We have some larger 17 inches on model. They do desktops. I would like to know what you're doing here, over here at PAX, and showing off some Battlefield 3, is this right?
Yeah, we're showing off Battlefield 3. Thanks for coming to check us out.
Yeah.
So we're actually exclusive launch partners of the Lucid Virtue MVP Mobile Edition.
Yep.
So what this software does, it actually boosts your performance on your laptop. It has 3 different things that it does. It gives you better response time, so your controls are going to be much more responsive. It gives you virtual VSync, basically locks in the frame rates, and also eliminates screen tear. Okay. And then also gives you better battery management, so more battery life.
Okay, Lucid, why can't I go ahead and put Lucid on my EEE PC and suddenly be gaming?
Well, it's a software that's designed specifically with the latest Intel onboard graphics, so it actually works with your discrete graphics and onboard graphics, better manages them together and gets more performance out of both of them.
Okay.
So you do need, Ivy Bridge, Sandy Bridge platform, and then a discrete GPU, and also, on your laptop right now, we're the only ones who have it. So.
Now, Origin's an awesome-looking PC. I just found out about it probably about 2 years ago when I was watching what was going on. Yep. You're not afraid of this being perhaps a saturated market, talking about Dell then buying Alienware, and then we have a number of others out there.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that because our background is we're former Alienware executives. So after the Dell acquisition happened, we decided we did not want to work for Dell. We decided that we could make a better gaming PC.
Yep.
So we created Origin PC, went back to the roots of hardcore gaming PCs when it was all about customization, all about performance, all about using the latest technology from all partners, including Lucid on the software side, and the hardware partners. And we also backed that up with the best industry support. So we offer lifetime 24/7 support on all of our systems. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you're pretty much partnering up what I think, I may be wrong, with Intel, with NVIDIA?
Yeah.
And And you can customize. You can customize laptops like this with whatever kind of memory you want, whatever, almost unlimited with the chipsets. You get a little bit more choice when you start moving on up. And if you want, you can get a crate. You can have it shipped in a crate. Is that right?
Yeah, man, you know everything. So yeah, we actually ship our desktops and laptops in wooden crates. So you get that extra protection, you get that wow factor. Yeah. And like you mentioned, we're totally customizable. So you get whatever you want on the laptop. The desktops, we also have Genesis desktops or Millennium desktops. Configure anything you want, we'll create it. Everybody says they're custom. Yep. We're the only ones who are actually literally custom. Whatever you want, it's done.
All right, on the spot question. Windows 8.
Oh, definitely. Windows 8, we will have it. It increases your performance. It's a great OS. Okay. You know, we're looking forward to it.
Okay. I think that takes care of it. Thank you very much, Kevin.
So, awesome interview. My question about this whole thing then is what differentiates a piece of external software that's going to optimize performance to drivers? Why not utilize drivers to do the exact same thing? Explain that to me. Why they can't put something that those drivers are going to be compatible with hardware of a similar nature that is not an on-origin PC.
I think NVIDIA is the perfect explanation to that. How many drivers has NVIDIA put out to optimize a certain game? And in that case, at the same time, broken another game that's available.
It seems to be like they put out one specific... Like there was one for Battlefield, wasn't there? Battlefield 3. There was a specific driver of Battlefield, and it pretty much... It worked great for Battlefield. It was awesome, but then all my other games didn't work so well.
And what drivers are one-time install. You install those drivers, you're stuck with those drivers. I have not yet seen a set of drivers for a particular piece of hardware that is versatile, that says, okay, I'm playing this game, do it this way. I'm playing that game, do it this way. Where Lucid Logics has the ability to tune based on the game.
Okay, so that's why it's a software-based enhancement.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so from there, we ran over to... We took a step...
We stepped across the alley.
I know when you were running, I wasn't.
We stepped across the alley there to what was really the Twitch TV corner, which was actually quite a nice corner. They have it's something that we're going to be considering checking out. We might not move over to because right now we're quite happy with what's going on with Stick'em. Stick'em has its issues, but it's also very good to us, and Twitch TV does a very similar thing. But one of the people that was working with Twitch TV was Recoil.
Hey.
Somebody...
Yeah, because I'm the phone. Hey.
Yeah. Somebody you may remember as being a developer of the month, perhaps under another name. Anyway, we go and shake a lot of hands because we happen to know these people, and then we go into an interview, play some game, and then have our microphone stolen from us and the interview taken over. Thank you, Trash, a.k.a. Jason. And here, take a look at some of the stuff we talked about.
Welshy here from MODSonline. We're here with Jason. We're at PAX this year. Jason, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Glad you guys could make it. It's very
so you guys were our Indie Developer of the Month 2 months ago.
Yes, yeah.
For a little bit longer, but yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah, good stuff. We got some good interviews with you guys, but for people who don't know, tell us about Recoil.
Well, Recoil is a first-person shooter whose main design is to bring the community back to first-person shooting and like bring everyone back to the roots of first-person shooting, basically. No bells and whistles, no kill streaks, no craziness, no getting shot in the head from a helicopter from halfway across the map. Just good, clean shooting fun. So it's basically trying to put this game into the community's hands and give everyone mod tools from day one, give everyone a great game from day one. The kind of things that we came to expect from the older games, the Mohas, the early CODs, the 1.6 type of feel, where you had access to make something cool with the game and whatnot. So really, that's what we are. We're trying to be what we're calling the Minecraft of first-person shooters. So it's pretty cool. So.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So I mean, the question we all want to know is the mod tools. Talk about that for a little bit.
Well, mod tools are coming along great, and it was our priority was to not wait till after the game was done and then say, okay, yeah, we're going to develop a set of tools and they'll be out in 3 months. So we've got a programming team literally going through right now and making sure that everything is good to go and making sure that it's set up the way that people who have been modding in the past have a kind of a similar flow of how the file structure should be and that type of thing. things. So, we are using Unreal Engine 3. So the editor itself is basically a version of the Unreal Engine editor, but using all the recoil assets, which is great. But you'll also be able to do other things like you are accustomed to with other mods, and or other games and their mods, is to be able to make something. Say you wanted to do a bullets only type version of the game, you could do that. If you wanted to totally redesign it, make it your own into a whole nother type of game, you can do that as well. If you wanted to make the pyramids in Egypt with your map, you could do that. If you wanted to make My Little Pony Land, you could do that too.
I'm sure somebody will.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the idea. To give the community the power to do things and create things. I mean, it's what we as modders really strive for. When we get a new game, we want to really, dig deep and get down and really, explore all the tools and what they have to offer. And a lot of these games are just closing that off. And so it's taking this community that was so huge and making it just a little bit smaller each time a new game comes out. And it's like, we don't want that. I would have never been here had it not been for having the tools to modify and do stuff like that. And and that's how I got involved, was through the work that I had done with DICE on doing just basically modifying and making my own maps. And so, we want people to have the opportunity to do that. It fosters talent. It helps people in the industry. It helps people who want to break in and people who have a ton of creativity. So, we see it as nothing but a good situation to have tools for everyone day one. So it's pretty robust, and we're probably going to be doing betas on those tools with a few select people to ensure that everything is working exactly like we want it to, because we want to hit the ground running and let people have a lot of fun from day one. So
very, very back to basics. Very much classic, almost like classic Call of Duty. Yeah, but very cool.
Very, very cool.
So I guess tell us a little bit more about Recoil. What are we going to be doing in the game? Where are we going to be playing? Who are we going to be shooting?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. Well, we got the Darkwater is the one team, and the Minutemen is the other team. Basically, the very loose story that we have around the game is the world was taken over by a virus, and the remaining people formed this military S-type force known as the Darkwater team, and the survivors that were trying to fight for their freedom are the Minutemen. And so that's the loose story behind it. But they could be playing anywhere in the world. Our maps are designed so that they're not like specific to any one region in the world. You could be in, living in New Zealand and feel like this map is just down the street or whatever it is, or so that's basically what you'll be seeing in the game is a pretty straightforward approach on the maps and a cool setup for everyone to play through, and just great, clean, competitive fun, which is also cool. So.
Cool, very cool. So I understand you guys are working with Twitch TV a lot.
Yes.
So what kind of things does that involve? Is it you guys just broadcasting?
We met the guys at Twitch at E3 in June. They came by, they played the game, and they not only played the game, but they couldn't leave. They kept, staying, and they were just like, this game is awesome. This is exactly what good, fast, fun-paced shooting is all about. And about a week or two after E3, they called us up and they said, we really want to feature you guys, at our booth and get you a part of what we're doing. And so, we've taken that one step further. We're going to be integrating a full-on Twitch integration, so you can be doing Twitch broadcasting and also viewing of the streams from within the menus in Recoil. And that's an awful lot of fun, because we think that's a great opportunity for people to, take it to the esport level and really, start doing shoutcasting and start having fun matches like that. So, there are a lot of really exciting possibilities working with Twitch, and the guys have just been amazingly supportive of what we're doing. So, definitely great.
So I believe in the last couple of days, you guys are on with the Steam Greenlight now.
Yes.
So yeah, how is that going? What's been down there?
It's really neat to be what we're, we consider ourselves to be kind of pioneers, for all the indie developers that are out there. The Greenlight offers them an opportunity to get their game out there, to have their game be heard, and so we're really proud to be working with Steam on this one, to use it as a vehicle to get Recoil in with the masses, and because it's just a great process. I think there's a couple things that need to be ironed out, but overall, they're charting new ground, and we're really happy to be a part of it. So everyone, if you get a chance, please go out there and give us a thumbs up on Greenlight, and we'll plug that in as well too. But
do it. So it's good to see you, man. It's very good. I don't know if we want to maybe bother Eric while he's playing the game over there.
Show some of that. So this is a map called Refinery. This is actually one of the last maps that we started with. It was a Zeroy, I think, who a lot of you know, came up with me, and he started showing me an early design, and I said, that's really cool, but let's take it to the next level. Let's add some elevation in there and really make this thing really rock, and the map is just fantastic. And so we're right now in the process of balancing it, making sure all the spawns are working correctly and everything else, but it's just a really fun little map to play on, so very pleased about that. So what are your thoughts after playing? We got to interview him.
It is a great game so far. I don't know what to say. That isn't fun to play here. I'm playing with some other players. I've got a team deathmatch going on. You got to play it.
The interviewee becomes the interviewer. You got to love it. Things have to happen like that every now and then. But you know, we're really proud that you guys are here, and we've been talking about it for a long time, and the opportunity for you guys to actually get down here and actually play it, it means the world to us. I mean, I can remember opening up Radiant for the first time and going, how the hell do I do this? And it was your guys' site that basically helped me get through that. So, you know, it's really cool to be a part of this and to have you guys here with us. So, definitely a lot of fun. So, thank you so much.
Thanks very much. I think we're good there. Welshy signing out from PAX.
So that was awesome. I liked at the end the M. Night Shyamalan twist where the mic was the interviewer.
Well,
became the interviewee.
he stepped away from me. So I'm like, I realized you moved forward with the camera, so you were between us. Yeah. And I realized that he's actually quite far away. So if I did that, he's like over here. It's like,
It was hilarious though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good, and yeah, they used to be called Ricochet. Now they're Recoil, and they're the game looked pretty good. We watched a couple different people playing it, and yeah, it was fun.
We got to play ourselves.
Yeah, got to play ourselves.
Briefly, yeah.
Right. One of the things about these games, though, they are all still considered in beta form. While we can turn around and say we like this, we don't like this about a certain game. Something that has to be pointed out is these are in beta.
Yeah, so and that goes for the majority of the games and the footage that you'll see anything of here.
Yes,
a lot of them are beta and actually sometimes pre-beta like alpha or pre-alpha footage.
Yeah.
That a lot of the places that did allow us to video their gameplay, they stated that it's fine if you post it, just make sure you mention. So there's another additional disclaimer.
All right, so now we went from Recoil, we hiked it up a few escalators and headed over to Orc Attack. And yes, Orc Attack happened. Who is that?
Casual Brothers.
Casual Brothers. Okay, Orc Attack is definitely not one of the kind of games that we normally review. However, we walked across the floor. We started talking to these guys, played some games, and you know what? It turned out to be a kind of a fun game. Now, you may remember a few episodes I brought this up because I thought it was really very much like Orcs Attack. Orcs Attack I find to be an awesome casual game. If you haven't checked it out, wait till it goes on Steam sale and then get it. Orcs Attack 1, I haven't played 2 yet, even though I did pre-purchase it. I think it's already out, though. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to.
You're talking about Orcs Must Die.
Orcs Must Die? I thought it was Orcs Attack.
You said
Orcs Attack, Orcs Must Die.
Yeah,
right.
and they aren't related in any way, shape,
They are not.
We've been tired drinking.
Yes. Not enough. Yeah. This is definitely a different game, and that's what I'm referring to. That I got the two mixed up in a previous episode, and they are not the same game. Although they do deal with orcs. This is a 4-player co-op.
There was a lot of orcs this year. I know.
There were a lot of
orcs.
Yeah.
Even that tectonic corridor shooter that I mentioned, I think was an orc running down a corridor. But yeah, so we went on with this game, played it a bit. We got some film for it after talking to the developer. And you know what? If you're looking for a casual game, something to play with friends, talk over Skype.
And it's me and you playing, isn't it?
Yeah, we play together. Pair you, and it is. It's to me, it looked like a very, very fun, casual party game where you could just hop in and mash buttons. It's most definitely a console-oriented button mashing game, and at the same time, it didn't look like it was unfun or
No, I mean, it was kind of fun.
ridiculous.
It's going to be available on the PC.
Yeah.
Don't just think that these games that we're playing here are just made for the console.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff we played was actually on PC anyway.
Yeah.
It was just running. You had like an Xbox controller plugged into it, or
Very childish, though, in nature. A cacophony of burps and farts.
Yes.
In fact, that was the majority of the special moves involved either burping, farting, or a combination thereof. So, take a look.
But you have to take this one, I think. I don't know how much are there. You move?
This one.
Okay.
What it is?
You have fast attack. I got you. Hard attack. This is for pick up and drop some shield.
Remember to cooperate. Somebody has to fart and the other guy has to burn at the same time. You have to coordinate that.
I think
I'm bringing them back up, I think.
Yes, it's right. So try to do it. Just the red fart, another one burn.
Ready? And now. I used the wrong one. I used the wrong one. Ready?
Okay.
And now.
You see? You get an explosion. Every all has different characteristics. So this one uses fire, that one uses stone. Stop there. Jump on his shoulder. Jump on his shoulder. Yeah. Alright. This is to defeat big enemies. The only way to defeat big enemies is you hit them in the head. Or you can do it both ways. Just go in the piggy bag or just jump in and hit it in the head. So now just go there and you will see the tall guy coming from in front of you. You see him? Just concentrate on him. Just go straight to him. Yeah, well done.
Okay, so after that, we headed over to Firefall. Firefall we spoke to last year. You might want to check 1 year ago today to see what we talked about. And things have changed. Things have changed quite a bit.
Drastically.
Yes.
The game itself, it looks like it's progressed to the point of being very polished and almost ready for release, as far as I can tell. And to that extent, I think we've got some beta keys coming that we're going to be able to
Oh, we do.
Yeah, to provide for you. And the game mechanics have changed. The way the game plays, the speed of the game has changed. Character classes have changed. Maps have been added and changed. Mm-hmm. It's getting to that stage. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately we had a very compressed time schedule,
yes.
And we asked our interviewer or our
yes.
interview candidate if we could compress what they normally put into a 1 hour interview into
like 20 minutes.
20 minutes or less.
Yeah. And he did it.
And you know what? He
nailed it. Yeah.
Well, he jammed a lot in there. Don't expect a lot from my end because basically he had the mic running full bore. So
yeah.
There you go. So this is Stryder, MODSonair. We're here at PAX Prime interviewing Red 5 development team, Firefall.
Oh yeah, what's up, what's happening? Well, thank you very much for joining us, guys. We really appreciate your support. We love having you here at the show. What we wanted to do is kind of share with you some of the changes we made to the game most recently, some of the updates we did in the last patch. For those of you who are new to Firefall, please check us out on firefallthegame.com. We have a massive game and a very short period of time to share with you some of the new stuff that's gone in. So let me go ahead and jump on into the game.
Sure.
For those of you new to the experience, Firefall is at its core a competitive team-based shooter. We have a massive, persistent open world. We're an MMO with a lot of deep character progression and itemization and customization of your character, along with a competitive PvP side where you and your army can join to go head-to-head against other armies and compete for world domination, leaderboard stats, and just mad props. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're in Copacabana right now, and this is one of the starting areas that players join in. One of the major changes we made in this last patch was to actually rethink kind of our core combat. And we had a beta going towards the beginning of this year, and in about April we sent out a survey to all of our beta testers. We received thousands and thousands of responses, with lots of ideas and things that people really wanted to see kind of changed or improved in the game. So really in the last 3 months, we've essentially gutted the kitchen and the family room and remodeled much of the game to really raise the skill ceiling, to make Firefall more competitive, to make it more skill-based, and we also changed progression as well as our crafting and itemization system.
So mechanically then, what has changed from what we saw last year? You're saying this game is basically 100% different, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 100% different, but I would say that players who have been played previously to the patch would notice a significant difference. Okay. You know, for example, we went and we asked all the hard questions. We asked the question, is our run speed the right run speed? And for those of you who played previously, if you were to jump in now, you would realize that, man, we have cranked up the run speed, the jump height, our jump jets. You have way more burn time with jump jets, way more air control, which really allows you to navigate the world much more easily. And in a competitive nature, in PvP, it allows you to really take control of the space and really kind of control it in your own manner, however you choose fit. So we increased run speed by about 20%. We increased, and these are things that, like, for people in game development, you know that like run speed is kind of the holy grail or the sacred cow. You don't change that after you've already built the world and built all of our PvP maps, because all of our run distances from the spawn room to the objective to wherever have been tuned to that run speed. But you know what? We decided that we really need to do what's best for the game and step back and ask the hard questions and say, hey, what would make this more fun? And we really feel like we nailed it. So another thing that we changed was our character progression. And actually, let me go ahead and jump back over to our Battle Frame Garage. Previously, we were a level-based game, much like a standard MMORPG, and we loved it and it was a lot of fun, but one of the things we realized was it really led to a far more kind of vertical progression game where the higher the level you were, the more powerful you needed to be for it to feel right, and also a very linear progression game, which seemed kind of boring to us internally. I mean, it seemed kind of, it was your only choice was to go out and get XP, and then you would unlock a new ability or you'd unlock a new weapon, and it was kind of dictated by, it was predictable and it was dictated by the design team, you know, by Red 5. So what we've changed is we got rid of that completely. We no longer have levels. Instead, we have a real equipment-based tier system, where you can really think of it like weight classes and racing cars. So, you know, in the world of cars, you could have, you know, a Porsche, or you could have your Ferrari, or you could have your Subaru Impreza, or whatever, and you could completely trick it out. You could really customize the technology in your car by changing its suspension, its tires, its turbocharger, whatever, and then eventually you might want to unlock a new car. And that's really kind of what we built here, is you have different classes. Your classes are defined by the equipment that you have on, but there are 5 different types of equipment, 5 different battle frame chassis. Right here we have the Dreadnought, which is really your heavy. He's got a heavy machine gun. He's a bit slower, but he has more health. He's really great for like defending a point or breaking up a point. We have the Assault, who is high mobility. He's fast action. He moves in fast. He gets out of the action. He has abilities that allow him to afterburner in 20 yards. He also has an ability called Cannonball, which allows him to, you know, to actually spin around and do damage as he torpedoes out away from the battle. And so he's really, his class you'll see bouncing all over the map. Next up is the Biotech. Players familiar with Firefall from last year will recall that we had a medic, and that was, fortunately, sadly, but also for a very good reason, a class that we decided to cut after this last patch. We realized that the medic really kind of forced us to design the game and to balance combat to therefore require having a medic all the time, right? If you have a game with lots of healing, everyone now has to have a very different play style. And what we saw was that the high level competitive side, super competitive teams really felt like, you know, if they didn't have a medic, they weren't playing optimized, but that medic had very few opportunities for being a superstar or feeling like a real skilled player, because your abilities were really, like we had a healing gun that locked on. And
healer, you could take the life away. Correct.
You just had to tag on. So now we replaced the medic with the Biotech, and the Biotech has some secondary healing abilities, but his primary goal is damage, and he does offensive damage through neurotoxins and injections and poisons, and so it's a really kind of cool class and very skill-based now. The Needler actually deals, puts an injection into the player. It does damage, but it also injects them with a neurotoxin, which causes them to take more damage. So it really incentivizes the Biotech to play close to his allies. You know, if you're a Dreadnought or an Assault, you're going to dish out a lot of damage, but I want to play close to you so that I can actually help optimize your damage throughput by doing the neurotoxins on the enemy. Next up is the Engineer, which we definitely gave an overhaul to with this last patch. We took him from really kind of a slower, lower twitch-based class where you would set up one turret and really kind of defend that turret. You'd set up a base, to a fast-paced, high-action combat engineer where you can run into combat and quick deploy a shield, quick deploy a turret. You can end up deploying 3 turrets that are, very fast combat, fast damage dealing. We also gave him a new, very skill-based weapon called the Tesla rifle, which actually it rewards pixel-perfect accuracy, and it also rewards me being able to stay on target, because the longer I'm targeting you, the more damage I'll end up doing. If I lose target, it will start to reduce how much damage it does. So it's a very cool new weapon. And then last up, our 5th battle frame. This is the Recon. The Recon is our sniper class. If you like sniping, this is where you want to jump into.
Pay attention, Breezy.
So what I was gonna show you real fast is our progression now goes. It went from a linear level 1, level 2, level 3 to a far more complex, far more in-depth player choice tech tree. So here's my tier 1 Accord Dreadnought. These are all choice. I've actually already maxed this guy out. So let me grab a different battle frame. Let me go to my Assault. And so you can see I have all of these tech licenses that I have yet to unlock, and it's really up to me, the player, to choose which tech license I unlock in what order. I earn experience points by killing creatures, by running missions, by participating in PvP, and I can spend that XP on unlocking, let's say, an upgraded plasma cannon right here. And this upgraded plasma cannon gives me faster rate of fire, which allows me to actually ultimately have a higher sustained damage per second. All of these are player choices. Now when we get into tier 2, so let me go over to my Dreadnought. Tier 2, we now split up, and the tree allows us to, players can actually choose different battle frames within the same class that have very specific personalities or characteristics, right? So now we're talking like, I'm trying to use the car analogy, like 2 different cars that are in the same weight class, but one might have faster acceleration, one might have faster top speed, right? These trade-offs. So here we have the Dreadnought Mammoth, which is all about survivability, just like a mammoth. He's strong, he's got more health, he has damage mitigation. He's the guy that you want planted on the flag, protecting your flag or protecting your base, right? Or you've got the Rhino, who's all about more damage. And so he's actually the guy that you want on the front end, right? Going in with the assault, or going on the offensive, trying to break up the opponent's base, trying to go in and destroy their, take out their engineers. And so in this similar manner, all of our battle frames have multiple chassis, multiple frames per class type that allow you, the player, to really pick and choose how you want to play, and to pick equipment that is advantageous to the PvP map that you're playing, or to the PvE experience that you're currently enjoying.
So are you still developing a PvE and PvP as separate entities, or?
Oh, it's a big part of the game is our massive persistent open world that you share with hundreds of other players, and the experiences you have in the open world influence your ability to upgrade your equipment, to gain experience and resources, and that carries right into PvP. Players who just want to go do PvP, we have a highly competitive PvP shooter, and I'll jump in, I'll show you a couple things there in just a little bit. We really are trying to make Firefall the esports shooter to go to, right? And so we're building a lot of esports functionality into the game, where you can watch live replays, you can spectate matches. We're actually building a shoutcaster or broadcaster mode that's a standalone tool that players will be able, or shoutcasters will be able to use to actually connect to servers directly and then stream live combat. They'll actually have a referee mode where they can pause the combat, reset the scores, and so forth. So we're really excited about the PvP side. Let me jump on over to our crafting. So one of the major changes we made this last patch was our crafting system, our item system. And one of the core mechanics there is based off our resources. So out in the open world, players are collecting resources. We have a lot of different ways for players to collect resources, and there are different types of resources throughout the world. We actually have a global resource manager that procedurally generates where these resources show up and when and how many of them appear in the world, and that's shared across all game servers. So when your friend calls you up and says, hey, I just found some ferrite 766, which is a super rare resource, you have an opportunity to jump on, sign into your server, and start collecting those resources, or try to find that resource.
Are those going to, comparing us to some of the other MMOs out there, are these going to be in fixed locations, predictable, and you end up with farming, and that's a problem that is a huge drawback of MMOs?
We are really focused on making Firefall a dynamic game. Every time you sign into the world, the state of the world, what's going on, where the enemies are, where the resources are, will all be procedurally generated and dynamic and changing. So everything from our events in the world, like the Chosen are the main bad guys, and they actually will start to build up bases around the world. And they're dynamically placed, and the time of day and time of week that they appear, and eventually if players don't stop them and take them out, they'll actually expand. They'll start calling down thumpers so they can collect resources, which allow them to build more bases and more turrets and more kind of encampments. Eventually they'll amass a large enough army that they'll actually come and invade cities and bases that are human controlled. And if players don't defend the base, they'll actually take it over. the Chosen will, and you'll lose access to all the stuff that we've been looking at here. You'll lose access to vendors and crafting and the new you in the Battleframe garage, and then it's up to players to unite to then try to take it back. So the world is very dynamic, and that doesn't stop with our resources. And the resources will actually be, they're procedurally generated with limited time and quantity. So if players all race, if it's a super rare resource, everyone will race to try to collect that resource. It'll be gone very quickly. If it's a less impressive resource, people won't care about it as much, they won't harvest it, and so eventually we'll just fade that out after a certain period of time. Let's jump on into crafting. One of the things, at Tier 2, when you unlock new tech licenses, you gain access to nanoprints, which allow you to actually craft or manufacture the items that you've just unlocked. So let me go ahead and grab my assault rifle. You can see some of my stats here for the assault rifle. I've got DPS, accuracy, range, reload speed, whatever. Down below, we see the crafting attributes, and this actually shows you what different types of resources influence those different attributes. So if we really care about rate of fire, we've got conductivity, density, malleability. The majority impact on this attribute is density. So I'm going to want to find a resource that is super dense, and that will actually increase my rate of fire. So we'll go ahead and select, here are all my resources that I've earned throughout the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I'll go ahead and grab bismuth. Now I happen to know that bismuth is not a real great resource for assault rifles. So I'm actually going to show you some of our stats, 20% accuracy, so forth. But I can go ahead and select something different. I can go down and select brimstone. And you can see how now the damage is different. The damage is 642 per second. My accuracy's also gone down. One of the best resources for assault rifles would be a ferrite. So I'll go ahead and jump down to my ferrite. And I have an epic rare 720 that I found. And you can see I have a really great DPS, accuracy, rate of fire. It's all there. So in this way, players can truly customize each and every piece of equipment in their battle frame. You can change your plating, your servos, which impacts your run speed and jump height and things like that, your jump jets, your abilities, your weapons, even the ammo that you load in your weapons. It's all customizable by players. Every single piece of equipment that you load in your battle frame, though, it costs some amount of weight, energy, and CPU. And in this way, by these constraints, it really is up to you, because you only have so much weight capacity in your battle frame, right? So it's really up to you, the player, to say, hey, I want to have the most Pimp Daddy Supreme weapon in the world, but you're not going to have enough weight capacity for a cool ability, or for additional plating, or for additional health regeneration. So in this way, you really absolutely, truly can fine-tune and customize every single ounce of power in your battle frame to match your playstyle.
You can change that as you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Crafting, as you describe it, is different than actually going out, taking 4 or 5 different things, turning them into something, and then selling them on a marketplace, for example. Is there a marketplace involved with Firefall?
The player economy is a really important thing to us. We've not turned on trading yet, but that's something that's very important to us in the next 3 to 4 months, where we're going to be focusing on the player economy and trading, and allowing players to meet up and find each other and exchange resources for crafted goods. One of the questions that I'm asked a lot is about, what if I'm a player that just wants to PvP, right? I love PvP, that's all I want to do. There's absolutely a place for you in Firefall. What if I'm a player that just wants to do PvE? Absolutely, and we have plenty of players in those two camps. We've really designed the game to really reward PvPers with lots of XP and special resources that can only be picked up there. And you'll want to trade those with players who are in PvE, who are crafters, who want to unlock access to new gear, and they'll need to kind of team up and trade with the PvPers to get the materials that they need for PvE, and for the PvEers to provide the weapons and equipment upgrades for the PvPers. So it's a real nice kind of ecosystem that we're building that will allow players to really kind of fuel each other. And then, of course, that's not even mentioning that we have armies. And armies are a really major, critical aspect of the game. It's your guild, it's your clan, it's your opportunity to join up with your friends to socialize, but also to compete together as an army, both in the open world and in PvP. As an army, you'll be able to collect resources and actually advance your army tech tree, which will give you access to new weapons, new abilities, new vehicles, new equipment that you can use in both PvP and PvE.
So you said army, how many people can be in one instance or what have you at one time in your group, in your army?
So we actually haven't turned the Army on yet. Army's on yet in beta, and that's something that we're still finalizing, the size and the scale. I mean, we have a lot of desire to, there's reasons for both ends of the range. We want to make sure that your individual contribution to the Army and your impact on the Army is important, and so that makes us want to keep the size somewhat restricted, but we also know that there are a lot of clans out there that are very, very large, and that they want to be able to have everyone in one army, and so we're really still dialing that in. We also know that we want to add Army Alliances, which is a really big feature for us down the road. We haven't built that yet, but that's something that we're really planning to add so that armies can team up and actually really specialize. So your army might specialize in vehicles, my army might specialize in harvesting resources, and we can actually team up and really support each other in that manner. So,
perfect.
So one of the big steps that we took a week and a half ago in the beta was we turned on monetization, and this is something that is just a huge milestone for Red 5, for the tribe, for us, because we're a free-to-play game, and we've been in development for a long time, and this was one of the big steps to take for us to figure out how to monetize the game. And to be honest, we've always focused first and foremost on building a fun experience. We haven't cared about monetization. We really have taken the kind of Field of Dreams approach of, like, if we build a fun game, then players will come and play, and if they play the game, we'll find a way to make money so that we can continue developing Firefall. But we're excited to finally be at the point where it's like, let's start testing the storefront. And so just a week and a half ago, we turned on our first premium vendor, Luau Larry, down here in the courtyard. I'll head on over here to Luau Larry. Now, Luau Larry it's a very heartfelt, personal thing for us, the Red 5 tribe. I don't know for how many viewers know who Red 5 is and know about us, but we're a very close-knit family. We call ourselves a tribe of inspired gamers. Every couple of years, for the last several years, we've gone to Catalina Island off the coast of California. And it's been a team retreat, team building, and also business. But every time we've gone, we've made a point to go to Luau Larry's. It's a watering hole, it's a bar down on the island, and it's a tiki-themed bar, and we've just really fallen in love with the place. And so, with their permission, we asked if they would like to join us for the grand opening of our storefront for our beta testers. And so we have Luau Larry here, and he's selling a whole bunch of novelty items. He's selling little tiki pets, tiki torches, wiki whackers, which are drinks, fireworks. So let me go ahead and call down one of my pets here. Honestly, I think it's one of the creepiest things in the game, but it's pretty darn cool. So this little guy will follow you around. Let's go ahead and head up to the stairs and see some of our other players.
With the monetization of this game, are you finding a balance of making sure that that the players aren't paying to be better at the game?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're free to play. We're not pay to win. And from day one, we've always been we've taken a strong stance on. We're not going to sell power. We're not going to sell the BFG 10,000 that you can use to just wipe out an opponent's team. That's not how we believe you build a competitive shooter. You always have to rely on your skill in competition, right? This is a skill-based game. We are totally open to selling cosmetics and aesthetics, and I'll show you some of the things we're selling now. Novelty items, fun items, things that are just really enjoyable, but also convenience items, boosts, XP boosts, resource boosts, things like that, right? Like, we have no problem selling an XP boost, for the person who works 70, 80 hours a week and they just want to go home and play a little bit, give them a chance to kind of catch up to, players who have more time on their hands and then, spinning it out in the open world. So I'll show you some of the stuff that we're currently selling. Like I said, we're testing the storefront. We're not done. We have a lot of work to do. But one of my personal favorites, which is all about fun, it's the tiki torch. Come on, at the end of the day, we're building a game. Games are supposed to be fun, and we had a lot of fun building this. This is really just meant to be a goofy kind of novelty item that you can share with your friends or strangers. It makes everyone dance in the area, including your little pet, your tiki pet, and it's just fun. On a more business, more serious note, we've got cosmetics, so you can look cool. You make yourself look all sweet with a funky hairdo and cool stuff. So you go ahead, we introduce the new you. This is where you go to modify all your cosmetics. You can change your head, your voice, you can change your hairstyle. We can go ahead and take a look at some of the hairstyles. Dreads, heck yeah, right? You can also give yourself different eye ornaments, so sunglasses, monocles. One of my favorites, the bandit mask. Go ahead and leave my monocle on. And then different masks. So I love my tiki straw hat. I find that it intimidates my opposition, so when I go into PvP, they're all distracted with my straw hat. So this really was a big step for the team, getting this out the door. And like I said, we're still testing it. We're still getting feedback from beta testers, but it's at least made a real big step in that direction. Another huge step was yesterday morning at 12:01 a.m. we turned on our founders membership packages, and this was another really big step. For a long time, we announced the game 2 years ago, and for a long time, players have asked us how they can support us. How can they, they wish that we had a storefront where they could spend money and really support the game because they like what we're doing with Firefall and they like the team. And up until yesterday, really the only option was for people to send us stuff. And so we had a lot of players, thank you players, we had a lot of players send us, cases of rum and scotch and beer and wine, and it was pretty darn nice. But it was time for us to open up a broader opportunity for people to support the game. And so we thought, what better way than to offer a founding member package? And so I actually, have this chart here to make it kind of easy to showcase. If people are interested, please check us out on firefallthegame.com. And to kind of get the party started and to celebrate PAX, we're offering a 25% sale on our founding membership packages. But these offer way more in-game currency, so if you're planning to play Firefall, it's definitely worth, there's a lot of value in this, just in-game currency. But we also are giving you Tiki masks to continue on with the cool Tiki theme. And because we're a social game, we thought that it'd be cool to give founding members additional Tiki masks to give out as gifts to friends. So you can actually send around a Tiki mask to your friends. A permanent XP boost, which is huge. 15% permanent XP boost at the commander level. And then also we thought it'd be cool to try something different and give out a squad XP boost. And so you can be the hit of the town with your friends are going to want to join with you because you'll be giving them an extra XP boost. We're sending out Firefall beanies, sorry, hats, posters. You'll be able to reserve your army name, your character name, and most importantly, if you're a commanding member, a founding member, you'll receive the first player-controlled vehicle in the game, and that's the Chopper, which is a limited time offer only for this membership. So we just really appreciate everyone's support on this, and if you're interested, please join us on firefallthegame.com.
One question about game mechanics. I know it was about a month ago you guys announced that you had done a lot of changes to the mechanics of the hitboxes and the actual targeting of where the hitboxes were, the size of them, to make it more realistic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so previously we had really focused on making sure that we could scale up to hundreds and hundreds of players in one shared open world, and so we prioritized the performance side of hit detection and hit collision, because you can imagine that that's probably one of the most costly things for us to do on the server side, because you have hundreds of players, you have thousands of creatures, you have hundreds of projectiles being fired at any given time, and we're needing to detect a collision between different entities. And so we used to have players be capsules and spheres for head volumes, and this works pretty well, but when you get into competitive PvP, you start to realize a little bit of softness around hit detection, right? You're able to hit people through their legs when you shouldn't. You're missing people when their arms are animated outside the capsule. And so this summer we spent a lot of time working on animated hit detection, and so now each of your limbs have their own hit volumes, and as they're animating, as you're waving, as you're running, they're all being animated, and so the accuracy for hit detection was increased greatly, and really it was much more tight now, and it feels a lot better in combat.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time. This is Stryder from MODSonair, signing out at PAX.
Rock and roll. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for your support. Keep it real.
Now, one of the things I wanted to mention about Firefall is that he did point out that one of the key features of this game is that you could go out and play tournament style, that this game was made for tournaments. Mm-hmm. However, watching the game and having played it a bit, it's not just a game that you have to be in a tournament to enjoy. I mean, some of these games you have to be in a tournament. I can't say StarCraft, even though that's really a thing. Counter-Strike feels like a tournament-style game these days. League of Legends. Huge, right. But this one is really, really developed with both, I guess, the server side as far as of being some sort of tournament-style game.
They want to be in the competitive gaming market. Right. However, they want to cater as well to the casual gamers. And I think either can jump into this game without feeling any sort of dissimilarity from themselves in the game itself. Mm-hmm. So, it's quite a feat that they've accomplished in my mind, and the fact that it's free to play.
Yeah.
There is an opportunity right now where you can get in, as mentioned, and get in on the Founders Club and help them out, and help yourself out at the same time.
So you're going to want some of these beta keys that we're giving away.
Yeah, stay tuned next week.
All right, from here, from Firefall, we jumped over to Borderlands. This is a last-minute interview that we were able to schedule. Thank you, 2K.
Yes.
Awesome game. You know what? We have been playing some of Borderlands 1 for a little while in preparation of this. Actually, Stryder and I pre-ordered it. He pre-ordered it on faith. I pre-ordered it because I enjoyed it.
If I'm wrong again, because of this guy.
That's a recommendation, right there.
No.
Came highly recommended, for the record.
Okay, I will also point out, what do you think of Borderlands 1?
You know what? Borderlands 1 is fun.
Yeah.
But right now, there's nothing else for me to play either.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
You know what? It's filling a hole. Not in the same fashion that, you know, a plate full of turd on a disc that's printed with a stalker label perhaps would fill. But it's filling a void in enjoyable gaming right now. And it's fun, it's casual, and I'm okay with that right now. So, and Borderlands 2, we got to go through there. I got a little bit of footage that I shouldn't have got, so you guys can't see that.
Right. It got pointed out.
You know, we got to play it a bit. You know, walked in there expecting it to be Borderlands 1 with new stuff, you know, new skins, whatever. It's not. It actually,
there is a progression.
It's a progression. So, you know, good on you. And
if you enjoyed Borderlands 1 and you're looking for a little bit more, not just in terms of maps, but also in terms of technology and gameplay, I think this has it. I think it has it all, and I think it has the same co-op playability. And based on what we saw in behind closed doors, it's got a lot more than just that, not just a little bit more,
which
is what we should be getting.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to deliver.
They're going to deliver. The most thing I was impressed at was the use of scale form, which isn't in the first game. Because you know when you like selected your inventory, it pans back. You get that kind of holographic. You get you guys standing here.
Yeah. You mean real scale form, not
like,
just.
Yeah, not like just that kind of cheap, but no.
A lot of people don't know what scale form is because that represents what Adobe? No. Adobe was originally putting out that product.
Adobe have it now, yeah.
Right. You want to tell them?
Well, it's just, I mean, it's kind of like that holographic, if you think of things like, almost like Minority Report, where he's doing this.
Okay.
You know, all this kind of stupid...
Technically what scale form is, it is a Flash-based GUI, graphic user interface that allows you to create a Flash anything
3D
and put it inside of your game. It doesn't have to be 3D.
Well, but it usually makes it. It's typically
if you
for
played
holograms and things like that.
Yeah, if you played Dead Space, and both Dead Space games had it.
But it is 2D, and it is placed as a. It can be transparent. It can be placed over top of the game. So it is technically Flash that's being put inside of a game. Now, some of the companies that support this is UDK supports it like wildfire. However, you have to have a specific version of Scaleform or Flash in order to produce this to work.
You also have to have a large bag of money.
No, it's not that bad. Scaleform is really not that bad as far as prices. They've gotten a lot better. Now, they're also trying to integrate with Unity, and in there it starts to get a little bit more pricey. And then so now what we're talking about is this getting into whatever engine that 2K is using, or actually 2K is not the developer, they're the publisher.
Gearbox.
Gearbox.
But
Gearbox
it's UDK, isn't it? Or it's Unreal.
Unreal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember when he showed us the test room? And that had the standard UDK textures.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
We said nothing.
So yeah, talked. I think Welshy talked to Kevin.
Yeah.
Here's that.
So Welshy here, and I'm with Kevin from Gearbox.
How you doing?
And we are talking about Borderlands 2.
Yes,
I'm sure there's pretty much nobody in the entire building that doesn't know what Borderlands is. But just for the one person out there that maybe doesn't, tell us about Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean, Borderlands 2, Borderlands 1, it's basically a first-person shooter RPG. So you've got these two aspects going on, where you have the role-playing aspect, building up skill trees, completing missions, gaining experience points, and then you have the first-person shooter act. So it's just blowing away fun stuff.
So we got the new game. What's going to be different from the previous one? What's going to be next in this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, we improved it across the board. We've got more guns, more unique guns. We've got more enemies. We've got improved AI. We have enemies that work together. We've got all new environments. Just again, across the entire board of the game, just improving everything.
And we're still looking at co-op, 4-player co-op on the PC, or are we expanding?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Co-op is really important in Borderlands, and with Borderlands 2, we're trying to make that system of joining a game even smoother. For example, let's say you're playing single player on your console on the TV, your buddy comes over, all he's got to do is just plug in a controller, the screen will split up, and you guys are ready to go. There's no logging out, there's no restarting. So, yeah.
So what kind of things character-wise are we seeing? Because we noticed you've got a whole new set of characters there.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at?
We got all 4 of them behind us right here. We've got Axton, our soldier. I guess he's kind of hidden. He's going to be deploying a turret, like the soldier from BL1, but it's a little different. There's a lot more improvements you can make on it. Like you can add rocket pads, and you can have double guns. It's got laser sights, all sorts of crazy stuff. We've got Lilith, our siren. She's got a new phase lock ability where she's more of a controller player. She can stop enemies from moving and encapsulate them in this kind of orb. We've got Salvador, our gunzerker. He's our dual wield character. And then we've got our assassin character, Zero. And he's kind of our sniper melee class.
So do you guys have a release date, or I'm pretty sure you do, but
yeah, of course, September 18th. Looking to get it on shelves. So about 2.5 weeks away. We're all really pumped for it.
Cool. Thanks very much.
All right,
that's great. Thanks. That's Welshy out.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that footage. I hope you enjoyed what we did here. We are going to be following. We are going to be following up in future episodes, diving more into some of these games as we cover some of the news that comes up and discussing what we saw. And on that note, I want to say thanks for taking the time out to fly here to Seattle.
Yeah.
From wherever in the world it is for you.
That made a good sound when you did that.
How hard is that cookie?
Yes. And all right, so I want to thank you, the fans of MODSonair.com and the subscribing members of MODSonline.com for making this show possible. And yes, we will be back again next week live. So, everyone, happy gaming.
Thanks, PAX. Thanks, Seattle, for having us.
Woo!
Thanks for watching this week, and come back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern when we will broadcast another live show on livestream. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@MODSonair.com, and please consider subscribing to MODSonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners.
I don't know, it looks more. That's better.
Yeah, kind of kick your legs.
He's gonna film it.
You kick your legs a bit, like you're running or something.
I don't know if I'll with my spine if I do that.